Hello, I'm Jody Wolfe, and you're watching Expoz. It is December 21, 2019, and it's 10:20 p.m. in Birmingham. Couple of small topics here, warnings, and I'd take them as a warning. I mean, really warning. That's no-go zone. You've heard about the ring. Thing you put on your door. You're at work, see somebody come up on your porch, or you're at work and you have this ring in your child's room, like a babysitter. Next thing you know, somebody's talking to your child or your daughter or your teenage daughter through this thing. Did you know the guy that invented that, it is short time that it's been here. Google just bought it for $1 billion. What does that tell you? If Google invests, they invest in their ways to hide and seek, except they're the ones that's hiding and they're spying on you. This ring is an excellent way for them to watch what you're doing. Not that they don't have it already. You have this little button right here in the one on my iPhone, on the front side and on the back side, and computer over here. And I don't know how many of these things are on this computer. It's I don't know what it is. It's an iMac all in one. But what I want to say is, if I have these little patches here, and I would urge everyone to get you some of these. See this? I got one taped. It sticks over one side of your eye, your phone there. I mean your eye, your camera lens, and it slides the cover over it. In other words, if I just slid it over, it'd block it out. And that means that anyone from a remote site viewing me cannot see me. They can hear me. However, is there another spot on this computer, this kind of under the skin here, that you don't see that is there? I have heard it is so. And just like I have heard it's in smart TVs, heard this years ago, that this remote, when whatever part of the TV that accepts that remote sees it through this white light. What do you call that? I can't think of the name of it. But the scan, anyway, that it can see, that it has a lens on it, that it has the ability to watch you while you're watching TV. So the ring, there's no way I'll ever have one. And my daughters, they're not going to have one. They already know about it. I mean, I pre-warned them. But there's another one that's 10 times worse than that. And I would say easily 100 times worse. The reason is the ability for more people to have this next weapon against you is high as owning a cell phone. There are more cell phones than there are people on this planet in operation today. There's 7 billion plus people. There's more than 7 billion phones being used. And I'm talking about cell phones. What is it about the cell phone let me tell you what it's going to do one day. You have a new car, and you have in your dash, you have this big, they're up to 12-inch, like a TV screen. It's got everything in it. It's got how to drive, or you put your information in to drive from point A to point B. And it's got side roads in case of traffic is acting up, or it gives you the thunderstorms in the exact spot ahead where you know what, you can get on down here 2 miles and hang left on road 21 and drive 3 miles and hang right on road 32, and then you'll bypass that storm and then you come back. So the GPS will have more knowledge than it's ever had in it. You can drive down the road and say, hey, I hadn't watched that movie, that latest movie of the Hulk. Let's hear it. Boom, it's right on there. What it is the 5G. When that hits, you know, every time you go to a doctor that you may have broken something or twisted something, and they put you, stand you up, prop you up, lay you down, whatever they need to do, and they put this thing over the spot where you may have an injury, and they step out of the room. And you hear a little short buzz, doesn't last but a quarter of a second, then they walk back in. Well, they just did an x-ray on your arm or your elbow or your shoulder. Or every time you pick up a phone, you're doing an x-ray on your ear or the side of your face. If they're so dangerous that these people that are doing the x-rays at the doctor's office have to put on a lead coat and leave the room and get behind another lead petition, then why in the world are they giving you a phone that's got 5G ability that gives you the same strength of radiation as that radiation that took that picture or whatever you thought was broken? The same amount, if not more. The 5G has the ability to give you far more than things you asked for. This thing will replace everything that you own. And one day it will run and operate everything that you own. It'll do everything but walk for you. There's one or two things that you have to do that it can't do. You have to go to the bathroom. You have to pull your pants up. This thing can't do those yet. Not yet. But maybe one day they will. I mean, really, you have people that think, and there's this other guy, one guy that thinks and I'm trying to think of a funny word that he's talking about, that when we get to the year 2045, you've entered another world. In other words, all they need to do is take your brain out or your head off and plug it onto this AI, and then you will live for the next 500 years. Singularity is the word I'm trying to think of. Singularity. What is the first phase of singularity? What is it? 5G. First phase of singularity. Right here. 5G. That's more dangerous than a bomb. And I would say within 18 months of 5G being implemented, a lot of countries are refusing it. A lot of countries are making the law. You cannot have it in their country because it can be used to spy against the government as much as the government will spy against you. And this pisses China off because they have face recognition. They have it when you jaywalk. They can post you up on these big street signs like you see in New York City. Big signs with people, pictures and things, advertising. Well, there you are, caught jaywalking. Well, people will point you out until you are tagged, and now you got to pay a fine. Except they already know who you are just because they captured your face. They are putting all their people, all of China, under this system that is measured today by points and fines and penalties, that it will even take your house away from you if you have too many points. That you can't ride the train anymore. You can't own a car anymore. They will take your friggin' bicycle if you have too many points. And you get points simply by jaywalking or littering. Simple things. Don't run out of a store and owe somebody a nickel. That's jail time there. I'm just telling you, 5G is Singularity, Part 1, 4 to go. That quick, that close. We are getting into hyper. We're getting into hyper AI today. I mean, that's going to be a lot quicker than most people believe or think or would have thought just 2 months ago. The ring woke up a lot of people. It did, and it scared a lot of people. And now people are talking about it. Well, if you think the ring is dangerous or you think 5G is dangerous, we are already told in a book that knows the beginning from the end because he's been there, front and back, every place in between. And God tells us what happens here, what happens here, what happens here. We are on that little old scale of 1 to 1,000. We are on page 999, and if there's 100 verses, in 98th verse. 999 page and 98th verse on the 100th page, or the 999th page. Look, we're there. We are there. The speeding up of artificial intelligence is so far ahead of what you think it is. It's unbelievable. 200 years, they said 5 to 10 years ago, they're 200 years ahead of where we really are. That's wrong. They're 1,000 years ahead of where they thought you were. And where they thought you were was 1,000 years ahead of it then. If they could do things like take a fish and a billy goat and take DNA from each and combining them and getting something the way they did a spider and a frog, if they could do that and create a grass-eating dinosaur and made it with something else or crossbreed it through DNA with something else and then make it a meat-eating beast, that's where that came from. God didn't create that. That's where it came from. So if they had the ability to do that 4,800 years ago, where do you think it stands today? Way over our heads. But it's in the wrong hands, and it's about to be used to finish what the Bible has already told us. The end days. Are you ready? Is it safe for you to die. Can you, if you go out tonight, get killed? Are you safe? Until it's safe for you to die, you're not saved. When you're saved, when you call upon the Lord, John 3:16, then you're safe. Until then, I'd be terrified of every day. But stay away from 5G, stay away from the ring, be a hermit, but guard your soul. And that's John 3:16, Jody, Wolfe, Expoz.